welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to AdTech God's Domain. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be up here with you today.
Really excited to have you here. If we could just start, if you could tell our audience what your name is, what your role is, that'd be a great place to kick off.
Sure, that's an easy one. You've set me up nicely there.
Oh, well,
I know my name.
It gets harder from here.
Yeah, it does. Shame. So my name is Josh Beckwith. I'm at Sojern. I'm the Global VP of Sales, and I look after predominantly our large customer sales unit, so all of our enterprise accounts, but also data partnerships and some technology work as well.
Excellent. So this is an exciting time to be at Possible if you're part of Sojern. Travel's back, right? It's a thing again?
We
can do it?
Travel is the best industry in the world, if you ask me. I've been doing travel-specific marketing for 9 years now, and I just love it.
So you've seen some changes.
I have seen some changes, particularly over the last few years, right?
Absolutely.
We had kind of the COVID lulls and then that kind of revenge travel as we came back and people were just desperate to get out and about. And even now we see so many great insights around the changes, right? You look at the impacts of tariffs and some of the political situations, and we're able to read into our data and see that people are still traveling, right? People are still desperate to get out there. You look at the US as a great example, like your domestic travel is up, the international is slightly down, but those two things carry off against one another. And then when you look internationally, you see some really interesting insights in the Middle East, for example, where we see Dubai and the UAE absolutely booming for hotel bookings. They're up about 20% this year over last year. You look in Europe, there's this interesting phenomenon that we're seeing. We're calling it coolcations.
Called it what?
Coolcations.
Coolcations.
So,
what does that mean? Tell me a coolcation. Is it like you go somewhere cool, or?
There you go. There you go.
Cool as in cold, or?
Cool as in cold and cool as in good.
Okay, so we're like heading to the Nordics.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing year-over-year increases for the Nordics, massively outperform Southern Europe, and I think, as we both know, as a fellow Brits, that we see the heat. Right, in Europe is spiking.
Absolutely. It's scorching down there. We can't take that.
You look at Seville and some of these cities, and they're becoming hot in August and July. So we're seeing a huge amount of intent moving over to Estonia and Poland and other parts that are a bit colder.
Amazing. So you have this whole global set of data to look at, global flair. How do you activate that on a local level? Because these are some pretty specific insights.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're a global business headquartered here in the US, but then we have teams around the world. I myself am based in London, and we have Dublin and Dubai and Singapore, all over really. But what we really work hard to do is differentiate what we do specific to the local market. Predominantly we're a data business, we're the sort of the travel data company, and we've worked really hard to make sure that travel doesn't just come from global partners, but also be differentiated with local. So we'll go and find the local OTAs, the local airlines, the local hotel chains, because what you see is a huge amount of difference in the way a Middle East traveller might behave compared to a European.
Yes.
So if you're a marketer and you're trying to sell a destination like Miami,
yes,
and you're trying to sell it to those two people, the Europeans booked it 6 months ago, and the GCC, they haven't even booked for tomorrow.
Right.
So as our insights allow us to really tailor the message to make sure that what we're doing at a global level translates and really performs at the local level as well.
And there must be also fluctuations. Obviously both hemispheres have different seasons, and then certain countries have different holiday seasons and different travel peaks based on those holiday seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. We see huge demand for ski. We look at wave season for the cruises. Travel is this consistent, right? We're both here for work, but we both travel for leisure, and we have different profiles for each one of those. And then even you look at big global events, like we have the World Cup coming up, you have the Masters that's just been, these things drive in massive footfall.
Yeah.
So we saw with London. So London has got some of the highest growth for this summer, driven by things like the Oasis reunion or other concerts that are coming.
Can I get a ticket for that, please?
If I had one, I would gladly take you.
I thought you were about to tell me that you had a ticket for me.
No, I'm a big fan. I tried hard, but unfortunately I failed.
Darn it. Oasis, if you're listening, we need 2 tickets here. That's really cool. So, all that granular insight and all that data, how do you manage that all? Do you work with various different partners, or how do you source the data? Tell me about who you work with.
Yeah, of course. So we source the data direct from sort of global OTAs, regional OTAs, airlines, hotel chains, to make sure it's really rich and deep and specific, and we see intent and we see booking, so we can really target people well. But then the other half of that is technology partnerships. It's also incredibly important to us.
Yeah.
So we work with numerous different platforms to make sure we're able to turn insight into activation and activation into measurement. So yeah, partnerships, like, they couldn't be more important to what we do.
That's amazing. Jeremy, what are you doing here?
That is a lovely suitcase.
Someone just say partnerships?
Did you bring me a present? That's so nice of you. Oh my God, I always wanted a Sojern suitcase.
Actually, Nicole, I didn't just bring you a present. I brought one of Sojern's partners.
No way.
And another present.
Oh my gosh! Oh my ad tech god! Oh my ad tech god! Wait,
Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
I just brought Howard with me. Howard, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks. I'm Howard Lux. I'm VP of Audience Solutions at PubMatic, one of Sojern's partners.
Well, we were just talking about partners, so can you tell us a little bit more about how you guys work together?
Yeah, so we've obviously been working with PubMatic for many years. But in the last 2 years, as I'm sure if you go into the Possible conference, you'll hear at no end about the value of curation. We've scaled a pretty big travel curation business. My goal is to own curation for the travel sector, and we're now working with PubMatic to make sure we can bring the best-in-class travel data to the best-in-class supply.
So can you talk a little bit more about how that curation looks like? Because curation is buzzword. Congratulations, well done. We're going to start having a bell. But no, it's a very important topic right now. And one of the things is that everybody has a different way of looking at it. So it'd be really great. How are you going to own travel curation? What does that look like on the platform? And how does that, how do advertisers access that curation?
Yeah, great question. And I love buzzword bingo. So I'm going to throw AI in there in a minute as well to make sure I get that one.
Where's my bell?
Yeah. So the way we look at it anyway, we own a huge travel data set that is really specific, really unique and differentiated to our vertical. We also have a load of technology that allows us to optimize in real time to the real campaign objectives that airlines and hotel chains and cruise companies want. We're not trying to force an automotive model onto a travel advertiser. We've really built optimization around what they're trying to do. And then measurement, we believe highly it's great to look at media metrics, it's great to look at ROAS and CPA, but there's so much data enrichment opportunities between our data set and advertisers' data set to really understand all of the things that go into travel. So the way we look at curation is bringing that travel data onto a supply that is premium and differentiated, be it CTV or others. And yeah, that's why we work with great guys like Howard at PubMatic.
PubMatic steps in.
Yeah, I think to Jeremy's point, we are focused on premium supply across mobile, connected TV, open web. We're also focused on very verticalized premium data. We've seen that as you can get into specific verticals and tie that to premium supply, you drive better outcomes, right? We've been working a lot in commerce lately. We're seeing when you tie retail data and purchase data to great supply, we've seen 25% increase in 25% decrease in eCPMs, a significant increase in return on ad spend. And so this plays perfectly into what we're trying to build from a curation perspective.
Those are some great metrics. That's pretty awesome. And so to have also this really focused set of data is really interesting as well. A little bit like the commerce media networks, but this is such an active segment with so much rich data. So what's next? What happens, what are you guys going to build for us next?
Wow, that's the $1 million question, I guess. If I could answer that, this would be my suite.
You did promise me there was another buzzword coming.
Yeah, well, I'll throw out. From London, I was walking down from my office in Farringdon to the station. There's a great pub called The Castle on the corner. And
I'll see you there.
Yeah. And I walked past it and I overheard a group and somebody said, agentic AI.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, oh, here we go. So I smiled as I headed to the train. But yeah, I think the ability to crunch huge amounts of data, the ability to make real-time decisions quickly and efficiently, to see patterns, right? Like for so long we've focused on segmentation, on profiles, but take me, right? I love football. And I am probably in every single segment of football enthusiast but I've got 3 children under 10. So the ability for me to come here next year to watch football is 0, right? So what we're able to use is like profile and score users based on their actual intent to do a thing, not just some of the behaviors that we've gleaned. So I think that's where we see some of the benefits of AI beyond just optimization and stuff. Creativity it's obviously core. We want to stay close to creativity, but where we can outsource some of the repeatable tasks, AI is the place to do it.
And I think that just also feeds into the curation piece, right? You can more quickly identify and isolate the valuable segments on a very, very granular level.
I think on a granular level, and I also think there's a move toward getting away from this traditional, I have to go to a taxonomy, I have to pick and build the specific audience I want, right? I'm going to take a bunch of data tied to premium supply. I'm going to take data back out to optimize, and I'm going to look at what supply and what data elements are driving performance and optimize toward that performance versus this fixed, I want travelers that just select their route pairing from New York to Miami. I want them to work in a certain industry, right? That's very static, and that doesn't necessarily equate to every traveler on every piece of inventory to drive the outcomes that you want. And so
even with Josh, when he gets a babysitter, maybe he will be looking to come watch the football next year. So guys, that's been really awesome. We have a lot going on this week at Possible, but if you could just give us your one word summation of what you're excited about for the week, that would be awesome. Like all of these things that we've been talking about, what's your hot buzzword for yourself this week?
One word. Ad tech god.
Ad tech god. Marketecture.
There we go. We love those words.
I'm going to stay close to curation. It's something that's really winning out for us, and I'm really excited about what it's going to bring to the tech scene.
Excellent. That's great.
I'm going to double down on that and stick with curation and continuing to meet with great partners like yourselves.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your partnership. We appreciate you coming here today. It's been great chatting with you, and I think it's pub time, right?
Always.
It's pub time somewhere.
Well, let's go see what's possible, huh? Thanks, guys.